See the leverage jumping over the top.
Leverage.
Allow me to remove my reading glasses. I don't need them. Doink.
This is 42.
Miss.
And the kick is no good. Denver's gonna win.
Win.
Denver's gonna win.
Psych.
Personal foul. Leverage.
There's leverage.
Penalty.
You see the leverage jumping over the top.
Broncos lose. Doink, miss, win, psych, penalty. Broncos lose. Doink, miss, win, psych, penalty. Broncos lose.
Leverage.
Doink, miss, win, psych, penalty. Broncos lose. That's how the Broncos Colts game concluded. Now, I've used this Simpsons meme before, but never did I think I would become Ralph Wiggum.
Watch this, Lise. You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now.
I've hit a new low. Thank you, not an angel. You definitely aren't. I honestly thought there was a better chance they let Shia LaBeouf direct and replace Harrison Ford in the next Indiana Jones than Indiana Jones cracking his whip on my Broncos and throwing for 316 yards on his way to crushing my soul like that giant rolling boulder in the movie. Speaking of boulder, the Buffs suck too. You know that scene in the Raiders of the Lost Ark where Harrison Ford just shoots that guy with the sword?
Personal foul. Leverage.
I could have lived with this team losing to a kicker making a 60-yarder, but to be robbed with a stupid, barely real penalty? That's too much. This Broncos loss was so bad I can't fully enjoy the fact that the Chiefs are 0-2 and are dead last in the AFC West. Yeah, I can. Fuck you, Kansas City. You still suck. No, that's empty hate too. I didn't think it got worse than watching that field goal get blocked last year at Kansas City. But it turns out there's an even more effective way to stomp on my heart. It's really simple. You trick me into thinking that the Broncos won the game.
Good. Denver's gonna win.
Maybe Kevin Harlan even tells me the Broncos won.
Denver's gonna win.
There's more, just when I've already begun to celebrate. He shaked it! Thank you, football Jesus! Thank you, football Jesus! Yes! Oh, fuck, there's a penalty. What's the penalty?
Leverage.
Throw a flag that turns a 60-yard miss into a second chance from 45 yards away. Spencer Schrader didn't even come close from 60, but from 45, he finds the mathematical center between both uprights.
Leverage.
Never show a hint of happiness because at any moment the refs can invent a flag for leverage and turn a win into a loss. Obviously, I know that's a real penalty, but I haven't seen that shit called since 2003.
Now he can leap as long as he doesn't step on someone. What is that?
And I hope I never have to hear the word leverage again. Too late because I just got a call from my lender and I'm over leveraged with my mortgage as well. Hope that's okay. Oh, and would you look at that? The Colts benefited from this obscure back of the rule book ass penalty 22 years apart. And I'm pretty sure neither was actually a foul.
I think that's bullshit. One play doesn't define a football game.
I agree. That was bullshit. Mike, it was.
What kind of a call is that?
One was a leaping penalty and one was a leverage penalty. Okay, I know. I'll explain the difference. The difference being, one of them fucked over my team. The first worst game ever was Broncos Colts Thursday Night Football, and here we are again. The new, whatever, as the Broncos fall 28-29 on a field goal after a penalty. Yeah, all right, here we go. Don't forget to subscribe here if you want to watch me melt down from time to time. Also, don't forget to support this channel with today's sponsor, Prize Picks. I didn't hit on my Prize Picks plays for this game because the Colts, of course, didn't punt. They never punted once, and one of my plays, I picked them to punt at least 4 times because I thought the Broncos defense was gonna, force them to punt. They didn't. But if you want to, make a few guesses on player stat totals for games from time to time. Just do it with my code TGS when you sign up at Prize Picks. And again, every 200 signups we get at Prize Picks, I get a big bonus here at That's Good Sports. We're close to 1,200, or we just crossed over 1,200, so we got to get to 1,400. Prize Picks, code TGS, link in the description, and make sure you play responsibly. Dear God, don't do punts. Don't do punts. Don't do punts. Don't do the punt pick, okay?
And when it went through those uprights right there, what went through your mind?
Robbery came to my mind. Like a crime had just been committed. Torture, waterboarding, to be specific. That's what came to my mind. The Broncos probably didn't deserve to win this game. That's the stance I would like to take. Makes me feel better. I realize one of their touchdown drives was aided by at least 2 bad pass interference calls against the Colts. And just like the Adam Troutman face mask penalty, I'm not going to show those here, okay? I'm not going to show them. What am I saying? I'm saying the referees in this game ruined it, okay? This might have been, for the 2025 season, the most poorly officiated game of the season so far. And the Broncos benefited from at least 3 bad calls, in my opinion. The Colts benefited from a terrible roughing the passer call and, of course, the leverage penalty. But the only way to stop the refs is with the fuck the refs coffee, which I sell at Benchwarmer shop. It felt like I had to do that here, right? The refs were that bad today. I'm not crazy, am I?
I am not crazy.
They were terrible. But a lot was starting to get weird in this game, right? After Will Lutz doinked that field goal in the last few minutes, or possibly going all the way back to the Bo Nix interception, there was a chill in the air. A little chill in the air. And a prolonged sense of dread that Denver was not going to escape Indianapolis with a victory. And why would we? I don't think the Broncos have ever won in Indy, save for a Thursday night game, which in my mind hardly even counts. That was Brock Osweiler. That place has been a house of horrors for the Broncos since it was erected, and today has proven no different. I knew the moment I saw the Colts mascot dry humping the climate-controlled air that something terribly amiss was going to take place. Double teaming the air with Cam Bynum for a cool 40 minutes? That's not a penalty, by the way. It's not. Pat McAfee being there definitely had to be a curse. But resting your arm on the biggest and strongest grown men on the field for leverage!
Leverage.
Leverage?
Leverage.
Maybe that's leverage. Maybe it isn't. Nobody actually knows.
There's leverage.
What I do know is the F in NFL stands for flaccid. National Flaccid League, because this shit is softer than me after finishing 8 whiskeys and watching a Great Antiques Roadshow marathon. The problem starts when you allow Danny Jones to throw for 316 yards. His first 300-yard game since 2023. Tim Tebow once threw for 316, and somehow Daniel Jones doing it to the Broncos defense in 2025 seems even more miraculous. Or cursed. Whichever you like. Denver had 6 sacks last week. They got Danny Dimes once, and it was on a blitz. He had enough time in the pocket to remember, literally enough time to remember every single sack he took as a Giant, which was 208, by the way, 2 weeks behind a great Colts offensive line, and he looks like a perennial Pro Bowler. And that Colts line is the best in the NFL, goddammit, per me. They made the hottest Week 1 defense look so porous, there's no other explanation, right? They're really good. They're calling this Colts offensive line the Great Wall, because they're so great. Now, Denver took John Elway and Peyton Manning from the Colts, and in return, we bequeathed them the horrible quarterback carousel graphic as a thank you, and they returned that thank you by doing what they do every time and turning our defense into Swiss cheese. It's a very transactional relationship these two teams have. The Broncos' pass rush was non-existent. That's the biggest surprise for me. For most of the game, the secondary was getting killed by crossing routes and the linebackers were nowhere to be found. Whenever Dan Jones decided to swing the ball out into the flat for Jonathan Taylor, he just ripped it to the end zone. Taylor had 215 yards from scrimmage, and oh, by the way, he remembered to hold on to the ball when crossing the goal line this time. Fuck you, Jonathan. How about you fumble again before scoring? That was really convenient last time for me. Why didn't you do that again, Jonathan? Why? Come on, John. Well, was it embarrassing the last time you did it? Not for me. Dre Greenlaw's injury is far more costly than I could have ever imagined. We need that man on the football field now! Now! Because Alex Singleton and Justin Strnad ain't doing it. Riley Moss set white corners back to the year 2012 when they were extinct. Pat Surtain sprained his ankle and valiantly played through it, but with that injury, he looked like the 10th best corner in the NFL instead of the best. That's the meanest thing I've ever said about PS2, and it makes me sick. I'm sorry, Patrick. I'm sorry. Actually, when I said the Broncos should have drafted Justin Fields, that was worse. 2 weeks in, and I'm losing my voice. The Broncos should be 2-0. When your quarterback throws 3 touchdowns in the first half, and you have 28 points a couple minutes into the second half, that has to be a win every single time. Did I forget to say Bo Nix tossed 3 fucking TDs in this loss? And they were nice touchdowns too. Instead, it was the defense that was propped up as the best in the league all offseason and after week 1. That defense got dog walked up and down the field by a quarterback that was so bad the last couple years in New York. People thought it was unfair Anthony Richardson lost his starting job to him. Probably including me. Maybe Daniel Jones is good though. I don't know, but the only thing that will make me feel better about this game is him winning MVP or at least a very competitive comeback player of the year campaign. I hate you right now, Danny Dimes, but I swear to Christ, I'm going to be your biggest fan for the next 16 weeks, just so when I look back on this loss, I can say, what could we have done? We got beat in a hard-fought game by Danny frickin' Dimes, NFL MVP, GQ sexiest man alive, Super Bowl MVP, comeback player of the year, and Purple Heart recipient. There's no way to stop that man in 2025. If I'm not saying that, Danny, I'm figuring out a way to get you back on the Giants. Right now, the Broncos' lack of production from their free agent class is hurting them. J.K. Dobbins has actually been pretty effective, except when he's losing crucial yards by spiking the ball after Denver's second good run of the game. 2 good runs all game. That's all I remember. That spike was the first mistake. The next was a face mask by Adam Troutman. I think it cost Denver 15. A face mask they never showed us on the replay, by the way. Why? Because it probably never happened. Denver was in position to go back up by 5, and instead 2 penalties set them up for a 43-yard field goal, which was a doink. And the worst part of that, I still can't appreciate the 0-2 Chiefs to the fullest. Hufanga's been good. Nothing bad to say about Hufanga. Evan Ingram, kind of been a ghost. What happened to our Joker, Sean Payton? Evan Ingram was our Joker. Why the fuck didn't you tell me you wanted the Jared Leto Joker, Sean?
You don't want no beef? You don't want no beef?
And without Dre Greenlaw, the Broncos have had to rely on Justin Strnad and Alex Singleton, which is part of the reason they got diced up to the tune of 473 yards by the Colts offense. The Broncos defense didn't force a single Colts punt. They got 2 fourth-down stops, sure, but they could never slow down Daniel Jones enough for a single punt. The Colts haven't punted for 2 straight weeks, which means our defense is as bad as the Dolphins' defense. Insert the Indiana Jones clip that sort of makes sense for this moment, because I'm honestly not too familiar with the franchise.
Oh, I'm not that kind of girl! Hey, Dr. Jones, no time for love!
I wasn't allowed to watch Indiana Jones as a child, okay, because my dad wasn't comfortable with how attracted my mom was to Harrison Ford, so sorry I don't know the films. This is not my therapy session. It feels like it sometimes. I was also a big fan of Tyler Warren before last year's draft. Turns out I might have been onto something. Should have drafted him, Denver. I think the Broncos were also fans, but the Colts swooped in and got him before Denver could do anything. Anyway, he turned out to be Indy's leading receiver for the second week in a row. He was a problem all game. Meanwhile, Denver's first-round pick, Jahdae Barron, is playing limited snaps as a fourth corner corner on the team for some reason, so they're not really getting much out of their draft class right now, except for a couple receptions from Pat Bryant. RJ Harvey had a 50-yard run last week, but against the Colts, he carried the ball just 5 times for 8 yards, albeit with a 16-yard reception. No wonder Bo doesn't want to hear your shit, Sean. He's turned you into the Russell Wilson of this relationship, and that scares me. Am I overreacting to a tough loss? You bet I am. I do treat this as therapy. I do. And I yell at a camera so I don't have to yell at people in real life. But these sideline tips are getting old. They're getting old.
If Russell Wilson says something as he's coming off the field here, or Purcell is just going over to him and saying, hey, man, I care about this.
Forcing the sack fumble on Russell Wilson.
Well, there is a very animated discussion, or it's a one-sided discussion.
Number one, I blame the officials for leverage. For leverage, whatever that is. Again, nobody knows, because it's stupid. Just let a man miss a 60-yard kick. The leverage didn't affect the play. Nobody got hurt. Shouldn't have been a fucking penalty. You know it, officials. You know it. 2, I thought about this for a while. I still blame Russell Wilson for the loss. Okay? Oh, why not Bo Nix and his interception late in the fourth quarter, Perna? Because God bless Bo Nix. And it was another great Colts defensive play. All right, there's a hand in Bo's face as he was throwing, or he was trying to get around a hand. He kind of had to do something weird with his arm there. The Colts made a play, that's why. Still bad throw, but the Colts made a play. But the Giants cut Daniel Jones last year, right? Why? Because they knew they could sign Russell Wilson after the season. And Russ told Daniel Jones to then sign with the Colts, just to break my heart in week 2. That's exactly how it happened. And if you don't blame Russell Wilson too, you're not a real fan of anything. At least when Russ was the quarterback in Denver, I knew who to blame. Fucking Russell Wilson. After this loss, I'm angry. I don't know who to blame. I'm pissed off at my parents for not giving me a genetic mutation, causing me to be born with extra fingers, because I don't think I have enough fingers right now to point. The only guys I'm not pointing them at is Troy Franklin, Jonah Ellis, who should be on the field more, and Bo Nix, except for that one throw that was not totally his fault, but kind of his fault, but not totally his fault. I'm not going to totally blame Bo. I fucking love Bo Nix. But everyone else, they got some blood on their hands, and they need to clean those hands before next week starts, when I fall in love with all these guys all over again. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. If you don't subscribe, then YouTube is going to send officials into my house to flag me for leverage, and that's probably going to ruin my marriage, and I don't want that to happen.